Hey cuties, PeachY here, welcome back to a new video. And in this video, I don't know how, I don't know why, but somehow the plot for the Monster High live action sequel has been leaked. So now we have this information that might or might not be true. So let's all just remember that it might be false information. But now we have this information that really kind of paints out the picture of what the sequel is going to look like, with also a bunch of returning characters that were not previously known about at all. Like, all I knew was Toralei was going to be in the movie, but that's it. And now we have even more characters that are supposed to be coming back and used in this plot a certain way that does feel very reminiscent of older, movies from G1. So that's all I'll give away. If you don't want to watch this video and you want to keep a element of surprise alive for, your actual experience watching the sequel. But if you're going to stick around, I don't blame you. I would too. So let us get into these juicy details about the plot that might be or might not be true for the final movie. Again, this could be false information or only half true descriptions and information from the movie. So let's just keep that in mind while we talk about this information. But let us get into it. Big thanks to @envyedits.0 on Instagram for sending me this information and also telling me that the source apparently was not the Daily New one on Twitter. So maybe that's like a news outlet for dolls leaks, maybe. So again, I'm not sure how reliable this is, but again, take it with a grain of salt. I just want to make it clear that this is not confirmed. This is really just more like speculation and just if it could be true. But again, thanks to @envy on Instagram. Now let's actually read out the information that I got sent. So it starts off with, "Hi. I don't know if you care about the live action movie, but I figured I will leak some info now that they're starting filming. These are simplified descriptions and are probably not the real character names, but are using fake ones. Just a friendly reminder to be discreet if you post online." Then we have these first character, paragraphs. Yeah, we have these character paragraphs that describe characters, and also like, again, hidden words. Like some of these words I had to, translate and make sense of like who the characters could actually be, but because obviously they were hidden because they don't want this information to get out, but it's really obvious. So the first character is Zamara, but that's not her true name. So what is her true name? Apparently she's a powerful businesswoman who owns a wellness brand that is secretly also a witch coven. She sends her son Ellis Kieran Valentine, to infiltrate Monster High and recruit Draculaura to make peace between witches and vampires. So that alone, like, what? This is so juicy. Kieran Valentine is coming back? That is insane. I would never in a million years expected him to show up again. But I mean, they are adapting the Sweet 16,000 birthday for Draculaura in live action. So I guess there was a little hint of a possibility that he might show up, because in the original movie, that's the same exact plot line. It was her birthday and then he showed up and he got into her head and put a spell on her. So but it seems that this time it's a little bit different because, Valentine is confident, cool, and a charming vampire. He quickly befriends Draculaura due to their shared passion for dark arts and has a complicated relationship with his mother. So that is different because now Draculaura, obviously, she's trying to be a witch, learn witchcraft, and apparently he is also a fan of the dark arts and learning witchcraft stuff. So it seems that they're going to have more in common, and also the complicated relationship with his mom. So I'm guessing maybe he's only doing her bidding because he feels like he needs to, because he's her son, but maybe he's only doing it because he's kind of like, she's forcing him to help her with this business that she's running that's actually a witch coven, which does remind me of Wednesday, the Netflix show. There's like a character that's like a siren, and her mom also kind of like does a scam on people and like secretly hypnotizes them. If you've seen the show, you know what I mean. Bianca is her name from the siren character. So very interesting, kind of very similar to that plot line. But so it seems that the Valentine, Kieran, and Draculaura will bond very quickly, is it gonna become a romance? A romance? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, so far it's been heavily PG with the romance aspect. Even in the first movie, these little glances that Deuce and Claudine had were nothing more. They just kind of looked flirty at each other, and that was it. So they never really develop that relationship any further. And from the looks of it, from the teaser, they do hug, but it looks more like a friendly hug. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think they're gonna be a thing. So I don't think they're gonna put a big romance twist on a sequel. I don't know why. It's like they're trying to be so PG. And Nickelodeon is usually like the less PG TV channel out of the bunch. Like, Disney Channel is usually like very PG. But Nickelodeon, like, if you've seen iCarly, Drake and Josh, that they put in some risky jokes. And Dan Schneider, like, if but like, it's a big mess. But anyway, oh my gosh. Then we have the Toralei paragraph. Toralei, sophomore with a British accent and a rival alpha to Claudine. She's used to the spotlight, and when she comes back from a year abroad, is shocked to see Monster High accepting humans and witchcraft. So right away, they're keeping the Toralei is British thing now from the series as well. I guess they really just want some British representation in here. I don't know what it is. I mean, it's great, but Toralei was never British. Like, it's just so... It feels like a token token personality change that they made that's really not gonna change her, and it's not really like a big... deep change. Like, it adds nothing to her character. It's just her accent that's changed, which is like, it's so dumb, but like, she's British now, I guess, also in the live action movie. So okay. So, get ready for some more British Toralei, you guys. I mean, I think I've gotten used to it on the series, and I think, if they're gonna do it live action, I really hope that the actress who plays her doesn't ham it up too much, and I really just hope that the actress is actually British, because doing a British accent is not easy. So I really hope she's just already British, and she's just not overdoing it, and she's just like, she also just has that natural Toralei charm to her. Because I don't think everyone can play Toralei. Toralei is a very specific character in tone and vibe and energy and like mannerisms and like how Toralei kind of like holds herself and like presents herself. She's very specific. So I definitely feel like they need to cast very well. I hope they cast specifically and well for Toralei. I mean, the movie has wrapped filming, so she's already been cast, but we don't know who, so I just hope they did a good job. But it seems that she's gonna be coming back from a year abroad. And when she comes back, she's shocked. She's shocked that Claudine is now in the spotlight and that she is the new alpha of the school, I'm guessing, because of what happened last year. So I guess Toralei's, whole thing in this movie will be trying to gain back the spotlight and be the new alpha again. And obviously, it also feels like they're trying to keep that whole Toralei is like very strict with Monster High not accepting humans and witchcraft from the series, because here it also seems like Toralei is going to try to get rid of, Monster High accepting humans and witchcraft as well. So that seems to be a overlining theme here from the series, which I think is okay. It's Toralei. But I do hope that, Toralei is still, herself and just looks like herself. We've seen the wig, it looks good. But it really just feels like it feels very heavily similar to the series. And I get that they're supposed to be like the same universe, but just different, mediums, live action animation. But let's see. I think it's a good story plot to clash Toralei with Claudine, because they've always been enemies. I mean, in the G1 it used to be Cleo with Toralei. It's more like they had a rivalry, but it makes sense for Claudine and Toralei to have this rivalry instead, because Claudine is the new protagonist of this generation. So it makes sense. And I mean, I knew Toralei was coming. I'm excited because now we know more about her plot. And lastly, this one took me by surprise, okay? Lastly, we have Operetta. I mean, it seems like it's Operetta. The description reads, shy and sweet, a southern girl She is learning to embrace her half-human, half-monster heritage and is inspired by Claudine's story. So that is Operetta, because we know Operetta, I mean in G1, to my knowledge, I don't know if she was ever like half-human, but maybe she was all along, half-human in the first generation. But here in this generation, it seems that they're really going to play that feature up, that she's like half-human, half-monster, because, she is the daughter of the I don't know anymore. What's it called? It's the mask, something opera. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I'm blanking, but you know what I mean. If you know Operetta, you know that she's the daughter of the guy from the opera. Oh my god, I'm so sorry. I just forgot right now. And it's so maybe her dad was like human and her mom was like monster. I don't know, but she is half human, half monster. That's the thing. And it seems that she's going to be, inspired by Claudine's story to also embrace her heritage. Now, is she going to be a new student, or is she going to be already a existing student at Monster High that we're just going to get introduced to now in this sequel? I'm not sure. I feel like she might be a new student who's new to Monster High, and that's also maybe why in the teaser we got to see Claudine and Frankie holding these clipboards that say "Ask Me." So I feel like that's a good way to integrate maybe introductions for new characters, for Operetta included. Now I do think there might be more new characters coming, like maybe Spectra might be another good character to adapt, but I do think it will be kind of hard because Spectra is a ghost. So how would they do that? How would they figure that out with the floating and stuff? I'm not sure. So maybe that's a difficult character to adapt to live action. But I do think maybe Claude could be also a new character. Maybe I feel like with the storyline that we have from Kier and Valentine trying to befriend Draculaura, I do think that Claude would be a great balance to Draculaura here as well. Maybe Draculaura has to choose between Valentine and Claude by the end of the movie. Very similar to, Do Ghouls Fall in Love from G1, her birthday. So I feel like Claude would be a perfect addition to the sequel. But again, we just don't have any information. But it just, from the plot storyline alone, it would just make sense to me. And I feel like it might happen, but we just don't know enough right now. So that is all the information that I got received. I think overall, if this is true, it's a very solid plot for the sequel. Very solid, but it does feel very, I don't know, it's like, I get it, like they got inspired by G1, and it's like, it makes sense that they would reuse storylines and story plots and characters, but it just feels very similar to, Do Ghouls Fall in Love from the movie. So I don't know if they were creative enough. I feel like they should have been more creative with the plot and like the characters, because it feels like a live action adaptation from, Do Ghouls Fall in Love. Like basically it's just a live action version. Like all we're missing here is Cupid. Oh, Cupid, is she gonna show up? I don't know. Or maybe Howleen. Like it feels very heavily based off of that story, which is okay, but it feels less creative and less, inspired. But I do think that it's just going to be one portion of the sequel plot. Obviously, there's going to be more going on with Toralei and Claudine's rivalry, and then Toralei, having her own, dilemma with the British thing, and then also being alpha and witchcraft, and Draculaura is trying to be a witch, so they're also going to have some more feud between Toralei and Draculaura. So, and then Cleo and Toralei, and then of course Operetta. So there's more here than just Valentine and Draculaura, but again, it just feels like that's very much the center point of the sequel. But then of course we also have the big evil of the sequel, which is Zamara. Who is Zamara? What's her name? I don't know. Is this a new character, or is this like based on a existing character from G1? I don't know. It does seem like she's a new character, because I don't think we'd ever gotten to know, Kieran Valentine's mother in G1. I don't think she was ever mentioned. So this is definitely new. And the whole, businesswoman who owns a wellness brand that is secretly also a witch coven, that is very interesting indeed. So I'm very curious to see how much of this is true, if any of it is true, and how they're going to adapt this, how they're going to turn this into the live action movie, how they're going to use these characters, this plotline in the live action sequel. Just because it does feel like a lot of things, it does feel like a lot of new characters, a lot of new plot lines, but I do think that they might be able to pull it off if done correctly. So I just hope they find a good tone and balance with all these characters, fleshing out characters, because we do have Twilight, Operetta, we have new characters, but like characters like Abby, Gulia, Laguna, oh my god, they never had enough screen time. So it just feels like, to me, we're never gonna get those characters fully fleshed out, because we're always gonna get new characters to pull back the original audience of G1, because we're gonna be we're gonna have our rose tinted nostalgic glasses on, and we're gonna be intrigued by seeing Operetta live action version, so we're gonna want to see the sequel because of nostalgia reasons. But then what's the point if the original characters from the first movie are not fleshed out more in the sequel? So that does feel like a issue that I just hope they tackle and that they fix in the sequel, because Laguna really deserved better. She had like 2 lines of speaking dialogue, and that was it. It's a shame. So I really hope they find a good balance here. But what do you think of this alleged new information for the sequel? Let me know your thoughts down below, and I hope y'all enjoyed. Leave a like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell if you haven't already, so you don't miss out when I post more content like this coming your way daily and keeping you up to date with all the royalty you love. Stay safe, be kind. I hope this next time. Stay peachy. Kisses.